Alright, do it again.
Man, y'all got some fire coming out underneath that stuff.
Alright, so I have gone through and rebuilt this right front or left front caliper. Not Craigslist rebuilt, actual rebuilt. These things were unobtainable for quite a few months, so I just ordered a rebuild kit. They're pretty simple. This is the sealing ring. It actually is fixed in the caliper body, and then this is the dust boot. So the piston floats inside the O-ring, so you really don't have to worry about honing the inside of the caliper, simply because the O-ring is not attached to the piston. So I already did that one, but I have another one to do, so I will share that experience. When I was doing the first one, I did I accomplished the task of making my wife come out here, because when I got the piston to come out of the caliper, it was exceptionally noisy. You'll see in just a minute. I should probably have a little hearing protection, but I'm okay. I think I'll do all right without. What you have to have. So what I did do first was pull it. Pull the dust boot out, and hopefully this caliper, you know, is rebuildable like the other one. But and I'm going to use air pressure to pull that. To get the piston to come out, which is where the noise comes in. I'll just have to remember to put these on. They're fogging up. So. Hopefully this piston's as clean on the inside as the other one. I'd rather not have to buy one. Caliper rebuild kit's like $4. Caliper's like $45. So if I can avoid spending the extra $40, that'd be awesome. And like I say, I was able to on the other one. Just got that boot out that time. There we go. And the boot just sits in there. Has a little lip that it pops into just behind this front edge of the caliper. But if you never rebuilt a caliper, you know, I guess it could be intimidating. I have some fears about this banjo bolt because it does not look good. Yeah, it's not good. It's not that it just doesn't look good. It's not good, but we'll see. Alright, now safety glasses back on. I'm going to use the air pressures. So if you have this style, it doesn't really seal very well. We're going to put air pressure in right here, same place you put hydraulic pressure in. We're going to keep our fingers out of this area because this piston's coming this way, and hopefully it comes out. There we go. There we go. And that is the sound that drew my wife outside last time. But pretty rusty in there. The separates, but here is still in decent condition underneath this mess. And then the caliper itself is pretty nasty. And then the next thing that comes out is the sealing ring. But there's just not a whole lot to them. There's that ring. You know, I mean, they didn't appear to be leaking. So these two pieces are all that comes in the rebuild kit. I'm gonna look into this whole thing here in a bit, see if this thing will clean up. If not, I'm gonna have to order a banjo bolt. But I think we can dispose of the safety glasses now. And actually we can't, because I'm gonna clean this piston on a bench grinder. Some cleaner first. See how it comes out. It might be alright. Oh yeah, that helps. Yeah, that'll let me know which part to concentrate on to clean that really stuck on there stuff off. And the piston feels good. It just, you know, had brake fluid, probably contaminated brake fluid sitting on it for a long time. As I said, I think this is chrome coating on the outside because it is separating up here, but it's good on the piston part. Which kind of explains why it looks the way it does. It's in decent condition. It's probably not full on chrome, but it is some kind of coating. And I'll kind of show that once I get it cleaned up enough to see it.
Tough times I've been going through, some tough times and I'm overdue. A good sign, maybe something new, some good times, give me any clue. Cause I don't wanna be left over, I just wanna know how it feels to have closure. Tough times I've been going through, some tough times I've been going through. I feel like something's missing, my life's a little dull, think I have a condition. Everything I do, I just feel like I'm existing. I'm in a bad mood and there ain't no point resisting. My mind is on a mission to make me feel different. I don't wanna listen, but it's hard when it's persistent. Darkness is gripping, quicksand sifting. I've been sinking into this pit for
So you can kind of see on here how it kind of looks like just chrome has come off. So that's why I say I think it's coated. And from here it's just cleaning the inside of the caliper itself. I'll do a little more scrubbing on this and just hand cleaning, and then I will come back when I go to put it together. Okay, so I scrubbed and cleaned this feller inside. You can kind of see in there's some rust still in there, but for the most part it's pretty good. And then the piston is pretty clean. As you can kind of see how it's made, that the piston really glides inside the inside the ring itself more than it glides inside the caliper, and you got good free movement in the caliper. Then once I put the ring on, of course it'll be a little stiffer moving. I'll lube that with brake fluid. There may be something else you're supposed to use, but I'm not sure. And then I cleaned the caliper itself just to make it ready for paint. One more thing I'm going to do is pop this out. This bleeder. I don't know if the bleeder's stuck, but the other one was. So what I've done to get those unstuck is I'm going to put them in that vise, and then I'm going to use a good 5-point socket. This is a 5-point impact socket that's that size. And I think I had to tap the other one on there. But I'm using a good 5-point so that it doesn't strip out. I don't want it to, I don't care if it tears up the bleeder. I just don't want the bleeder to get rounded off and be stuck in the caliper. There it goes. And if you use a 12-point or a, open-ended wrench or something like that, there's a good chance you're going to screw up the head and then you won't be able to get it out. But 5-point impact socket, that seems to do a pretty good job, just because it doesn't have any flex to it. And I mean, it seems like overkill when you look at it, but like I said, I don't want it just stuck in there. And you probably can't even see it, but that's the bleed hole right there, and it's clogged. So that's out. I've got a new bleeder. Now we're going to where's my caliper rebuild kit? Caliper repair kit is just O-ring and dust boot. Just leaving that with .3. And .3 is what I'm using in the car, so I suppose since going through the whole thing, you could go to .17 or whatever it is now. It's worked good for many a year. It's fine. That's pretty much the whole deal. The caliper is the piston. You're not going to really be fighting any pressure with it going in there, because the bleeder's out and the banjo bolt's out. You can see on the piston there's a taper. It's there to help you get it put together. Like that. Nothing amazing. I suppose you could actually use regular lubricant on this, but nah. You get a little flathead. So this guy here is really just a dust boot. It really doesn't do sealing. Its purpose in life is to keep dirt out more than it is to keep fluid in. Matter of fact, it won't keep any fluid in. If you're dependent on this guy, you're already sunk. I will say the boot must work pretty good, because the only corrosion that existed was really on the outside of the boot. And it seals on the piston and it seals to the caliper. So it really looks like it did a pretty good job. I mean, the piston looks like crap on the part that's not protected. But the inside piece, where it's actually meant to do its work, actually looked pretty decent. Here's your finished product. It's and then that boot just pops in that lip. I did take good, I paid good attention here. That's where your banjo bolt's going to seal. That's where the bleeder goes. But there it is. It's rebuilt. I'll wash it off and then I'll give it a blast of. I'll give it the Craigslist rebuild once I'm done. That way it looks rebuilt, and it is actually rebuilt. Oops, seal up my brake fluid before it goes. Sucks in too much water. You know, the brake fluid is hygroscopic, so it sucks up moisture. I think that's the word, hygroscopic. So if you leave it open, and it's humid out, even if you don't leave it open, eventually it's probably better to just get rid of it than it is to use it. But I've never thrown away brake fluid, so. Alright. Now if we can get it dried off, give it a fresh batch of, make it up out of a fresh batch of cast iron. I missed some of that boot's not in there. Here we go. Hard to get in that top section. Maybe if the caliper was out further, you'd be able to get it to pop in there better. Hard to see, but it's all the way in there. Well, it's as good as she's getting. Give it a blast of paint. it's now they're not only rebuilt, they're got a fresh batch of cast iron on them, so they're factory fresh, pretty much. Not at all, but you're gonna do all that work, you might as well at least make them look decent. Here's nothing amazing going on here. Rebuilt the calipers. Time to put front brakes on. Pretty easy to tell which caliper goes on which side because bleeder needs to be up. So if you put this one on that side, the bleeder is down. I think. Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, down. Anyway. Something. Anyway, I've replaced the bleeders on them. The brake pads, I went ahead and ordered some because when I looked at these, you can kind of see that they're not the same thickness. So I thought, well, something was hung up. I best go ahead and get some new brake pads. And I looked for the cheapest ones I could find. But the cheapest ones I could find took too long to get here. And when the new ones did get here, they're Bendix. They have shims on them. They've got blue stuff that I'm assuming some kind of anti-squeal stuff. And one pad is, the outer pad is way thinner than the inner pad. So evidently that's the way they come from the factory, which tells me these are probably pretty new because if you compare them, there's not a whole lot of difference. Except those have steel rivets. These are bonded. I'm not sure they do any. They have this nice rubberized like metal shim on the back. Maybe they'll be quiet, but I don't really care a great deal about all that. From there, we're just gonna put brakes together. The calipers, because I just rebuilt them. I mean, the pistons are in all the way, so I don't really have to compress them. The hardware I put on when I put the front suspension back on, just so that they wouldn't disappear. And here, I can't remember where the lube goes. So I'm going to lube this surface, and this surface. And I did take the time to clean the sliding surfaces on the caliper bodies. Just to kind of help prevent the sticking. But these are not a complicated brake system. They also come with some rubber bands. I don't know what the rubber bands are for. I don't know. And because I don't know, the rubber bands aren't going back on because I can't imagine them doing much of anything. So I assume they were trying to cut down on maybe the anti-rattle clips rattling. I don't. It's a little confusing. So I'll get a wrench and tighten those up.
A minute. Tough times I've been going through, some tough times and I'm overdue. A good sign, maybe something new, some good times, give me any clue. Cause I don't wanna be left over, I just wanna know how it feels to have closure. Tough times I've been going through, some tough times I've been going through. Tough times I've been going through, some tough times and I'm overdue. A good sign, maybe something new, some good times, give me any clue. Cause I don't wanna be left over, I just wanna know how it feels to have closure. Tough times I've been going through, some tough times I've been going through.
I'll have to look at the parts breakdown or something. I don't remember how the clips go. That's not it. I just don't like how they're sitting. These are the old ones. They're not near as big or as wide. That's how they go. I just don't know why they're turning so much. Got some grease on myself. That's good. Something's off. Yeah, look it up.
Gotta break out of this, I'll do anything, take any risk. I just need to find my way to live, something in this life that's worth it. I'm sick of feeling so worthless, I need to find a path that's worth it. Break through the walls that are nervous, I'm free to find my purpose. Tough times I've been going through, some tough times and I'm overdue. A good sign, maybe something new, some good times, give me any clue. Cause I don't wanna be left over, I just wanna know how it feels to have closure. Tough times I've been going through, some tough times I've been going through. Tough times I've been going through, some tough times.
Alright, I've looked for it. I can't find where the rubber band goes. The only picture I found in the parts book was it sits underneath this. This is what actually retains the caliper. Then this is a spring, or it's like an anti-rattle deal. But the thing I was having when tightening it is this spring is kind of kicking just a little bit, which I'm not super worried about. But I was able to hold it kind of in position when I tighten, as I tighten. So I guess I'm just not super worried about it. So it is, just brakes. How important can that be? This is the rubber band I'm talking about right here. These come with the new hardware. And it looks like one per side, or one per retainer. I just don't understand their purpose in life. I have done them before and never used them, so I couldn't, and there were none on it when I took it apart, so somebody else didn't see the importance in them either. I have come through here. I didn't have to make a brake line for this side. This one here, you can kind of see that black spot right there. That's a hole. So I couldn't get the, this is to shield the brake line if the wheel or the tire comes apart and hits the brake line. This is kind of how it was set in there from the factory. Is it a perfect match? No, but it does serve the purpose the same way this one did, except this doesn't turn anymore because it's all rusty. And then I had to cut it out of the proportioning valve, which to get that out, I use the same trick where I take an impact socket and put it on here. And what that does is it puts a 6 point on there that is not going to round off, and then you have a better chance of taking it off. So it worked out. I didn't end up destroying a proportioning valve. There's no brake fluid in this thing right now. I did swap out the master cylinder. It was completely frozen up. Not sure about that. I don't think it turns much more or that much. Makes me question how I've got the brake line on there. Some things you remember. This does not happen to be one of them. I can't articulate the suspension because I've already put the torsion bars in, but I do not know that way is good. This way is ungood. However, if you took it off and rotated it, turn that far? I don't remember. So, only thing I can do there is, again, look at the parts catalog, but I don't. It just is not very good at detailing. I mean, I can get part numbers from it, and sometimes you can see how stuff is assembled, but it's not just super detailed. That's not what it's meant for. It's meant for ordering parts. No brake line. There's the brake line. And it may, I don't know. Well, it just doesn't seem like it would rotate 90 and then have that piece of hard line running out this direction. Doesn't seem right. But that would probably resolve one issue, but it would also look like it might run it right into the shock when the shock's in there. Just no good pictures. I mean, really? That's not this car. That's just super useless. No. Not at all. It doesn't help even a little. 73 passenger car. Yeah, this is not helpful, even a tiny bit. Oh, okay. If my car was here, I would just go look at it. But that may come out. Here, let's try it the other way. It's not like we're going to lose brake fluid. Because, you know, there's none in it. Oh, yeah, see, that's not good either. No, that would put it. No, come on. Nice. Huh, I wonder if there's a left and a right. Or if they're the same part number. But if you turn it 90 degrees where it would actually key in there again, it definitely doesn't work. And 180 works even less. What if I do it a different way? What if I flip this filler like that? Man, that sure looks a lot better. You know, probably should have paid attention when I took this apart. That's never gonna work. I think I had it the way it's supposed to be. Now I need to go check the brake line and make sure it's the right part number. Or make sure there's not a different part number for each side. See if that's a different part number. Well, the left side and the right side seem to be the same part number. I could look it back up on Rock Auto and see if it's supposed to be this part number for sure. Of course, I bought it so long ago that, you know, I can't return it, so it just seems a little on the short side. Yeah, maybe the wrong part. Or it may not turn as far as I'm turning it because there's no wheel and tire on there. So. Okay. And you can see the caliper moves pretty good on here. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's see what Rock Auto says it was supposed to be. $350-412. That's the part number I have. It says it's for disc brakes. That's the same part number it shows. It also shows that it comes with copper washers, but it didn't, because I'm reusing the ones it had, which is, you know, I guess we'll go with it. And then once I put the steering on, if it's still stretching the brake hoses out, then I'm gonna have to do something else, because the steering's only gonna let it go so far. It's at full extension, so in range of motion here we're good, but turning too far is pulling tight. Turning this way, we're all good. But turning the other way, that's, I don't know what's too much and what's that. I don't know. It seems short. Maybe I could just bend that creature some that way. Get some range back. I don't know. It doesn't, if the pictures online are any good, it's not much difference. So Rabestus says their hose is 15.12 inches long overall. That's 4.5. This is going to be a really crap measurement. It's 9. Well, I'll measure the other one. I haven't put it on yet. We're going to attach it to the rotor for the caliper. Alright. So the brand I bought is not Rabestus, but the other one does measure 15 inches, so, and that's what Rabestus says theirs measures. We'll go with this, and then we'll see. I'll just have to remember when the brake line rips off the first time I go to drive the car that I was supposed to check that. So, till then, we got one side together. Okay, on to the other side. Gotta get our fresh rebuilt caliper. This is the brand of brake hose. That's the part number it says for 73. Dart, Duster, A-body, Dart Sport, which is what this is. Like I say, I'm sure I will forget to check it, and then it's going to rip a brake line. Where's caliper? What I did. Oh, right there. Oh, right in front of my face. Alright, so we're going to lubricate surfaces. Where the caliper slides, you don't want it dry. This grease doesn't smell good. It smells like stink. Alright. this caliper here is the one that I rebuilt on video. The other one was rebuilt off camera. So you have multiple sliding surfaces. You have this one, this one, this one. The retainer, caliper retainers actually slide right there, so I'm gonna give that guy some lubes. Man, this grease stinks. But it's synthetics, so I'm sure it won't ever go bad. But it doesn't smell good. Alright. Brakes. These brakes are just, man, so simple. There's just nothing to them. Come on, brake shoe. Brake pad. There we go. Go ahead and lubricate that section of the brake pad right there too. I'm sure there's a Mopar guy watching this going, hey man, gotta have them rubber bands. They do something super important. Yeah. Didn't have rubber bands when I took it apart. I am pretty sure I've never seen them on mine, but you know. This guy. Probably a screwdriver would be better than a super sharp piece of metal. So this was the banjo bolt that, when I did that caliper, was looking like it was just full of stuff, but it was, I mean, it was full of wet, rusty sludge that came out of this caliper, and it cleaned out just fine. I did think it was going to be clogged up, you know, permanently, but it was good. Not that, you know, one banjo bolt is going to break the bank, but, you know, just save money where you can save money. Oh goodness, no, get in there. Get in there. What are we doing? There we go. This didn't want to go. We'll say these are some good looking brake pads if nothing else. I know Bendix made a lot of brake parts, you know, for manufacturers. I don't know if I've ever used a set of Bendix brakes, but I got them off the Amazon. They were about $25 for a set of brake pads. Which wasn't terrible. The cheapest ones were that one doesn't seem as bad, but okay. Anyway, the cheapest ones were $20, so, but they were going to take 2 weeks to get here. I didn't feel like waiting 2 weeks. Not that a 2-week timeline on some brake pads is really going to slow me down, because sometimes I slow myself down because after I get off work, I don't really want to work on this thing. There it is. We're pretty close to having brakes. Need to bleed these, but I'm probably going to bleed all the brakes at one time, and I haven't even started to look at the back brakes. I'm not super excited about how they're going to look, but that's kind of how everything is on this car, so there we go. Brakes done. I'm going to take the rear brakes, or at least open up the rear brakes, take the drums off. This rear end I don't think is the original to the car, so maybe the drums got taken care of when it came off, but or when it went in the car, but I doubt it. I just want to see if I need to do a bunch of work in here, or if it's something where I can bleed them and see if we'll get away with it, but let's find out. No telling how long these lug nuts have been on. I would imagine a bit, but I don't think these tires were ever run on this car. So, seeing how the car's been parked since '87, and this kind of thing wasn't even a thing in 1987, I seriously doubt it. So the back tire that's on this car right now is a 245/40/15, and that is something special. You can see a bunch of either grease or brake fluid on the drum, so that's not a positive first sign. But man, they look better than I thought they would. Looks like some axle seals maybe leaking a little bit. It's just not bad. I mean, probably bleed them and run it. The trouble, I haven't decided, since this rear end probably never came in this car. This is a 73, an 8 3/4 behind a 340. I don't think was a thing in 73. I have a 73 340 4-speed car that came with an 8 1/4, so I can't imagine why the automatic car would have came with an 8 3/4. But that 8 1/4 is still available. I've got it sitting over there on a shelf, so I may put that whole rear end in this car. I guess it kind of depends on what we find out about this, because I don't know what rear end it is, or I don't know if it's got welded carrier bearing or welded spider gears, or if it's an actual P-track or sure grip. Don't want to make the Chrysler folk angry. But I just don't know. I mean, this rear end is the better of the two. You know, as a whole, it's stronger. But you know, the 8 1/4 I have has 410 Richmonds in it, and I've also got a set of 323s that go with it that are the ones I took out of it. So it you know, it could do the job as well. Just, I think I'm going to take and spray this down with some brake clean. Let that stuff run off into a drain pan. I'm going to measure those drums too. I think they're probably 10 1/2, 10 1/4, whatever it's supposed to be. But I'm going to bring it in here. You can see there's nothing super crazy going on. I see there's maybe a little wetting down there. You can see it probably better on the e-brake cable's a little wet, but for the most part it looks decent, better than I expected. Wheel cylinder looks dry. Of course, they don't cost anything. just not a whole lot to see. I mean, they're decent. It's really hard to tell on the axle seals if that grease came from a previous leak, because these brakes look like they've been done. But it's hard to tell if the axle seals were actively leaking or they were leaking, then someone did something about it and then put it back together. What do we got? Yeah, 10-inch brakes. There's decent enough shoe, I wouldn't be worried about them. Here's some, see, Chrysler Pentastar on these brake levers in here. Right there. So those are probably original. But I just don't think I'd be worried about too much with these, you know, for an initial deal. Probably go through and bleed them, you know, see which brake lines are going to burst. There's definitely some bad ones on the front. But the grease on this really looks old. But it could just be that it leaked down to the level that it's at now, and there's just nothing left to leak. Being that the car was parked in 86, or last tagged in 86, you know, it could have leaked down and it would look old. I don't imagine it would look, you know, brand new. Okay. But I think I could give them a whirl, bleed them, or this side. The other side may be worse. Alright, let's see what this other side looks like here. Now these are, I didn't notice on the other side, but these are dual lug pattern wheels. So 5 on 4.5, 5 on 4 3/4. Means they go on a Ford, a Chevy, or a old Mopar. Whatever these tires came off of did not have much for an alignment. Stay over there. Alright. Oh. Yeah. Might have a little groove inside this rotor, or this drum. Not much. It's tight though. Kind of feels like it might be sticking on the center hub here too. Come on. center hook. Well, this one doesn't have a big old grease ring on the drum. But you never know. Yeah. Oh well, that's not good. I think that's a non-serviceable brake shoe. Huh. So there's what I did was I just marked that axle right here and was pointing it right there, and then during one rotation I count how many times that pinion rotated, and it's about 3 1/4, which closest thing to that's going to be 323s or 321s. I can't remember for sure. Bunch of brake dust in here. This front shoe clearly is not serviceable. Hardware all looks to be in good shape. I may order hardware just because. And you know what? I'll probably order self-adjusters because they look rusty as hell. I guess the question is, do I go ahead and use this 8 3/4, which 8 3/4 Chrysler is built like a 4.9 inch. You can kind of see that third member style rear end that's got a pumpkin on the back. Like I said, as far as I know, in 73 it shouldn't be in this car. You know, this car is strange because some parts are really bad like this, and then some parts are okay like that, and it's kind of a mix. You know, the exhaust is exceptionally rusty. Not that it was any good anyways, but you know, the current goal is to get this thing running and where it can move under its own power, so I can back it out of the garage and drive it back in the garage under its own power, along with my car, which is not here. I can't bring my car home until this thing's mobile. My car is occupying somebody else's garage. I'm sure they're tired of it. But if both were drivable, I could back my car out, do body work on this hideous mess, and then, you know, pull it back in. And that would be reasonable. Of course, I gotta make space for it, but I will order some parts and then I'll pick up from there when I'm doing these brakes. Alright, so I had to stop working on this thing on the brakes because I had to order all the parts. So I ordered all the parts, and then I waited on the parts. And because I was waiting on parts, I thought, well, I'll go ahead and work on the fuel tank, so I can start getting the fuel system lined out. So I did that. Okay, I stopped again yesterday for parts because this little spring right here is that spring right there. So I could not find that spring in the normal hardware kit. I had to go look up the original part number and then cross-reference that, and was able to find it. Had it shipped overnight from Amazon. Additionally, since I made the realization that I put the short shoe in the front on the other side, I had to take that side apart as well. And since I was taking it apart, I ordered new hardware overnight as well, so that all of it is new. New hardware except for the strut and the e-brake lever, but the self-adjuster and all that is new on this side and the other side. Additionally, I installed the rear brake cable so tomorrow I can bleed the brakes. Everything came off pretty nice, surprisingly. And there was fluid running out up here, which is the highest point other than the master cylinder on the car, so hopefully nothing below it has a leak. Was going to record that stuff, however I have family in town and didn't want to try and do that, record it and work with somebody out here. It's already pretty tight. So I've completed brakes, bled the brakes, have a really good pedal, replaced all the soft lines. Did have a few leaks, had a few different fittings like those two there, but now everything seems to be dried up and no longer leaking. Had this caliper, I would replace the bleeder with that one down there, but it kept leaking. Just no matter how tight I got it, it would just kind of weep. I put the old bleeder back in and it sealed. So, but as I say, I have a great pedal. Again, I did not video simply because I have family here and there was someone helping me, so I didn't try and fit everybody in there. But everything's dry, and the only line I had to replace was that shiny one right there. Everything else has seemed to hold pressure and have shiny new brake fluids. This is not a new master cylinder. My cousin owns a 75 Duster. He swapped to the newer aluminum bodied one, and he had that one, so free's better than money. And there we are. So brakes are done. So it has brakes for the first time in no telling how long. Good firm pedal. It's nice and squeaky. That's good. But then we'll move on to the fuel system.
All we got done. We go down to 73. Do that. 75 to 9. 11 before that one.